I'm Shez.
And I'm Kell.
Together we are SheKan.
And this is Spill the Prosecco. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Episode 4.
Episode 4. I don't know if it's just we're more relaxed because we've done it before, or I definitely feel like season 2's eps are going a little bit longer.
They are going a little bit longer.
Because I just love the story.
Yes.
It's so nice to share the story.
And we did book the dream house for 6 hours this time, not 4, because we did run a little bit over last time and we absolutely hated that about ourselves.
Yeah.
So we were like, let's just book it for 6 hours. And so I think we feel like we've got a bit of freedom with the timing. But
You watch us all of a sudden, we'll be like, fuck, we did it again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, that's right. Yeah.
So pop the bottle. How you feeling?
I'm great. Pop the bottle. We're still drinking a beautiful Italian branded Prosecco. It said Bella something, but I don't know the rest.
Okay.
Sorry.
But it's kind of probably why we didn't bring the bottles in because we can't pronounce the names.
That's exactly right. But
All right.
anyway,
So
you'll never get us to drink red wine on an episode, that's for sure.
you'll never get me to drink red wine full stop, not on an episode. That's a hard no
You've
for
tried,
me. I've
you've tried so hard.
I have tried
You
my
have
hardest. So the main pour.
Ah,
So we're excited this episode because we're going to talk about essentially how we got to the decision
yeah.
to launch SheKan essentially 2.0 or relaunch SheKan. We shared in episode 3 how we had the most incredible adventure week, which was meant to be.
It was a bow.
It was going to be the bow on it. We were coming back. We'd spoken to the accountant. We were going to be winding up the company on the 30th of June. And we got asked that question in Bali. Would you do this every year?
Yeah.
What?
And why wouldn't you?
I was going to say, why would you ever say no?
It was so good. Like, we loved it, and it felt great for us. It was great for our clients, but it was a way to keep it, I guess, something that we loved still going. I think that there's a real magic to that. Anytime that in your life that you've loved something or it's been really important or pivotal, that being able to talk into it or, wanting to recreate it is something that has always, always been a thing. I know often when we would get together, the old stories of the footy club would come up and,
Yes.
you would live into some of those stories and things that had happened. And I guess fast forward to the years where we weren't doing SheKan and doing live events, that's what we did. I guess you were living in the Gold Coast and I was in Mawela, and every time we would catch up, it was just Prosecco, sit, yak, chat, event stories, and the good old days and the fun stuff would always just come up. It was just always such a, we would be talking about what we do for that one event we would have per year, that one adventure week. But you could not help talk about the other.
And it was there was just so many stories.
Yeah.
And I think the really incredible thing was the stories just fell out of us.
Yep.
Like it wasn't, I think what we love about the podcast is that the commentary we've got from the listeners is like, oh, it's just like sitting there with you and Shez listening to you talk. And I think in episode 3 or 4 of season 1, we actually shared, we want it to feel like you're on the couch with us or you're sitting with us.
Yeah. Because this is what it felt like to be in our houses when we got together. It sounded like this.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so it was not like we would know what stories would come up, that conversation just flowed and it just story after story after story, and you just made reference points and that reminded you of another story and another experience. And I think we realised that we got so much joy from SheKan and doing what it is that we had done for such a long time.
Yeah. I at the time I was working other jobs.
Yeah.
You had started working on another business model and, it was doing the trick, but for me personally, it didn't feel like what SheKan felt. And it didn't matter what networks I was talking to, what groups I was in. It was really hard to not talk about SheKan because it was absolutely the love of my life. Yeah.
And I think we do refer a lot to human design, and there's a huge element of human design in one of the upcoming episodes when we talk about our rebrand. But there's such insight that I get now from understanding our human design that makes me realize why SheKan and what we do is so easy. Mm-hmm. Not easy from like when I say easier, that what we get to do, facilitation, run retreats, be in service to women, that is what we absolutely love. The complexities of business and content and marketing and ads and all of the other elements that go with business, not necessarily so much.
Yeah.
But what people get from us when they come to an event is the best experience because it's when we get to do the thing that we are most passionate about.
Which is why when we, when you travel down or when I would come up to see you, we weren't talking about marketing. We weren't talking about the biz end. We were telling stories of the retreats, of the women, of the clients, of the experience, of the funny, and that's what you want to remember about a business that you love, all those things. We were certainly not talking about clicks on Facebook ads and, know, what our next brainchild is to make dollars. That's not what we were talking about.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think there's also been so many stories of incredible transformation, and they've been shared personally with us from clients that we between us two would reflect on and be like, wow, to be a part of that and be part of that journey
so
is
lucky.
Really, we've been very, very grateful for. But we did return back from Adventure Week 2023, and we did have the conversation with Tony, and he was like, yes, that's doable. We got the thumbs up, annual event in Bali. And so we went ahead and we booked that in, and we gave the women that attended in 2023 first option to come to 2024, and we sold it out.
Yeah, we did.
And it was like, okay, we're doing this. And then I think from that we kind of got like this kind of little fire in the belly that maybe it's like, well, would it be doable?
Yeah. What does it look like?
What would it look like? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we had shared in season 1 that we ran the same business model for years, which was absolutely not possible living in 2 separate states. So, I mean, we had the free 3-hour workshop, which we did every week
with little kids.
Yeah, most weeks of the year. That was then into the 2-day escape, that was into the 4-day retreat. And we just knew, well, that was not going to happen. That needed to look very differently. But what could it look like if we, not that I think, I know we had built such a strong community that we knew if we did go back and run events, there would be women that would jump at the opportunity to come back.
The reality was that if, say your favourite product gets taken off the market and all of a sudden they relaunch it, you're going to get it. We were craving it, so we knew that they would be craving it as well.
Very true.
And so it was kind of there was never a fear of we wouldn't be able to fill the event. It was, what does it look like when we live in 2 different states? And, in our mind, hindsight, we had the model, like we knew that'd be fine. And then we had this genius idea. Let's just meet in Sydney and
oh my God.
Let's just meet in Sydney.
We're going to ride an event in Sydney.
We're quick at events. Like, it's fine. We just need to just tweak what we've always done. Let's just meet in Sydney for the weekend. That's halfway. That makes sense. And we'll just write the event.
We did write the event,
Oh, yeah.
but we also found a bottomless Prosecco lunch.
Yep, we did.
Thank God we wrote the event before we went to
That was
that.
a reward. As soon as we'd finished the event, we could go.
Yeah, absolutely. We wrote that event real bloody quick. I'll give you the hot tip.
You could tell.
So, yeah, essentially we just decided, okay, let's just give this a go. Let's see what it would look like. And we relaunched
Yeah.
in April 2024. We made the announcement on
Your
my
podcast.
and it essentially, we were kind of calling it SheKan 2.0.
Yeah, we were pumped.
We were.
It was a huge decision.
It was. And we launched it with everything the same.
Yeah. I remember at the time I was where I was working, I remember because I remember the first time we decided to start SheKan, it took big balls, you had to quit some shit. I was like, I guess that's what I've got to do again. So I went and quitted some shit. So I went and resigned. I'm like, oh my God, to the T. Like, here's the template. Shit yourself. Quit some shit. Launch. That's what I did.
I'm dead. Oh, God.
Did it. Yep.
And I know we spoke a fair bit about this in season 1, but we relaunched SheKan, same logo,
Yeah.
same model in our head, minus obviously the free 3-hour workshop.
Yep.
Same colours. We had no new branding photos.
What's not broke, don't fix it.
That's right. I had hair in our last lot of photos. So we were literally, and
we had heels on.
we
That's
did.
a big fat lie.
That was you don't see us in heels. We're here in barefoot right now. But I think the big thing was if we had have waited to be like, oh, we need new photos or we wouldn't have ever got started again.
No. And I guess
I think deep down we kind of knew like, oh, this is a bit weird.
not
Like this 100% us. Yeah.
I absolutely remember that feeling, but I also remember thinking nothing we produce will be worse than the video we did in Bali. So let's just go. You know,
Very true.
Again, nothing will look worse than the ads where we had the purple tops. You guys all saw them in season 1. You know, we can't fuck it up any more than what we did SheKan 1.0. So surely like what was working just before we wound her up is going to be great in 2.0.
Yeah.
This is a story we're telling ourselves.
And I mean,
But it's get started is the message.
It was. And
Start.
And we did. And we started with choosing a date, choosing a venue, and booking in our first, what was going to be essentially the 2-day escape. Mm-hmm. However, we renamed it. That was fancy.
Gives me like an uncomfortable feeling in my belly when even just thinking about that.
Yeah, but we're going to talk a bit more about that in episode 5. However, what was confirmed to us when we relaunched was how excited people were for us.
Yeah.
How many people jumped into that first event that we launched in September 2024 and how ready people were because they had been missing
Live events.
and that element of being able to put themselves into an immersion event, to work on themselves, to have some fun, to step out of life. And that was confirmed very, very quickly because I don't even know the numbers, surprise, close to 30 women at that very first September 2024 event.
So spilled everywhere, I guess, if we talk about it, if we go back to that weekend in Sydney where we rewrote the event, kind of using the same template, but I guess making it what we thought was a fancier version or a more aligned version. Clearly we were a bit rusty. Like, you don't just jump back in. And I'll be honest, the growth work I had done from stop to then was minimal. So much of what we've always taught is what we've lived through.
Correct.
And there was such an element of me of stagnant is what I'm going to say for me personally. And it felt a little bit inauthentic.
Yes.
To be launching and I hadn't been doing the work myself.
Yeah. And I think there's also an element of we didn't want to rehash the things that we had done by then 2 years earlier in that last 4-day, but essentially 4 years before COVID had hit. We wanted it to be fresh, but we still wanted it to have the same impact.
Yeah.
And
The one thing I knew is I had lots of stories because my girls had kind of turned into that older teenager.
yes.
Holy smokes, I had all the
And
stories.
we still knew how to facilitate, and we still knew how to create safety and create connection in a room. But yeah, we went into that event, and we'll talk about that more later. There was just so many things that became very apparent running that event that we knew that, okay, the launch was amazing, but we couldn't continue the way that we'd been doing things in the past.
Yeah. In hindsight, it's probably it was probably a failed launch. It wasn't as in it, our clients were there, all of the things, which I know we're going to talk about more in the next episode. So tune in next week at 5:00. But I guess for us, there was absolutely elements that felt a little bit wasted opportunity.
For sure.
Yeah.
And you said like failed launch. The relaunch that we had, people would pray for.
Yeah, true.
Because to have, 30 or whatever it was at that first event, we've got to remember we had no paid marketing. It was literally just,
you weren't allowed to market.
I'm still locked out of Facebook marketing. But we sent an email out, a couple of emails out. That's how we filled that event. What's your biggest learning from essentially the relaunch?
Well, it's funny because I'm calling it a failure, but without it, we wouldn't have got to where we are now.
Fine.
So the learning is do it anyway.
Yeah, that's fine.
Again, this is why I love this podcast, because we get to have all of our thoughts out and then correct ourselves right in the moment. Because, when you went back to the room, the beating up of ourselves that we did in the room was significant. But what got us to that got us to the next bit. So that's where the learning is for me. We had things that we let happen at that event that we would not normally, we'd be like, no, sorry, that's not a thing. We don't do that. And jumping back in, because we'd been conscious of maintaining relationships with our amazing clients, to the point where it's like, hang on a second, are you here for the event or are you here to hang out with us socially? And what does the blurred line look like? There was just, I guess that there was a lot of awareness that come from that event. Mm-hmm. What about you?
Definitely, you can't wait for all of the things to be perfect. Because if we had have said, let's relaunch, but what do we want it to look like? And do we want a new logo? And we better get some branding photos. That would have prolonged the getting started, and then that would have possibly may have never happened. So what you said is like, you just got to do it anyway. And I think the challenge for a lot of people, particularly in business, but also in life, is they want to wait for all their ducks to be in a row. Or they want everything to feel like I'm ready.
Yeah.
But you've just got to jump and hope that you fly.
And be able to see the learning, grow from the learning.
Change your mind, pivot.
Work it out.
Absolutely.
Work it out.
Yeah.
Good one.
Amazing. Okay. Behind the glass. Oh, no, the spill. Guilty pleasures, trends you swore you'd never do, unpopular opinions.
Have you got a current obsession?
No, but I've got maybe an unpopular opinion. I don't know if it's an unpopular opinion.
Of course she does.
Of course
it is.
I just don't do pop culture.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you were like, oh, Kim Kardashian did, I'd be like,
Who?
What? Hey? Huh? Mm-hmm. I'm just not in, like, no, any of that. Like
Yeah.
people will be like, oh, you know that person. I'll be like, no, I know I don't. No, who, what, how would I know?
And it's so funny you say this because we both grew up in small country towns, and I vividly remember being in a car with my mother and her saying things like, well, you know, such and such and where they live. And I'd be like, no, I don't. Like, oh, well, you know, I actually don't. So, yeah, it's funny. It's a little bit of a make-up about that.
I don't understand.
The language of gossip and the language of...
But I don't understand idolising people that you don't know. Like I truly, like hand on heart, truly don't understand why, like, you know, the Kardashians, I don't know why I keep bringing them up, but I just don't.
Yeah.
Like I would prefer to idolise someone that is exceptionally good at what they do and love what they do, and, you know, like, for example, sports people.
Yeah. Achievement.
You know, like Michael Jordan, like you hear his story, you know, people like that. Even like AFL players that, you know, they've come from nothing and they've just fought their way there. And, you know, don't get me wrong, they're born with the God-given gift of being great at something, but it's not an easy run to those things. But there's just an element where I'm like, that infatuation of following people's lives and pop culture, and I just don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah, good one.
So that actually was the one that I forgot when we were in season 1, and I was like, oh, I don't know what I was going to talk about. Was that?
Yeah, and even you're like, I like that song, but you're like, I couldn't tell you who sang it or what.
No.
Like you've often been like that too. Yeah, you're like, I just.
You'll be like, oh, have you seen this movie? I'm like, oh, I don't know. You'll have to tell me a bit more about it. There's such and such is in it. I don't know who that is. That is me.
You actually do.
And I actually have no problem. I'm like, I don't know.
I love it. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And Macy, my eldest, she'll often be like, you know, like, and I'll be like, no, I don't know. Don't say I know.
Yeah, because I absolutely don't know.
Yeah.
No.
What about you?
I guess an unpopular opinion. I don't know. And we may have alluded to it a little bit talking about our next kind of little play with our SheKan existence, which is Success Co, and being able to create our own profiling system for profiling and personality profiling. I really ignorantly just thought that this is something that people have experienced before and understood and got a grasp on. And it truly, and I know I have spoken about this before, it just baffles me that people live in a world where they've never experienced something to show them this is why they show up in the world, or this is why you do that, or this is why potentially you don't connect with people like this. It's an unpopular opinion, I guess, that people know it and they fucking don't.
Yeah. And then there's people that learn it and then use it to
weaponize it,
to deflect away from personal responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're our favourite kinds of people, aren't they?
Yeah. Okay. Behind the glass. Where are we at? What are you? Something else.
Oh.
I don't know if I've got anything.
Me either. This is the problem with being... Oh, do you know, really funny, so traditionally I've always used the... Okay, yeah. I've used that, look, I don't do the tech thing. I'm not a tech. And then in our last, when we came down to record season 1,
yes,
we spoke about let's just put a little bit of our real lives out there on social media and reels and the creation of reels. Now, they are not fancy and they are not polished.
It's what they like.
But we have had the best time as a little family creating reels and being creative in that space, and then I guess writing about it. Still, for fuck's sake, people, read the context. Like, just I get the reels are good.
People are lazy. They ain't going to read shit.
Context. But again, that behind the glass has been a lot of fun. We were laughing about how the one with Joey jumping, you know, it did well. but the one with us laughing at Joey and Joey cracking the shits at me about doing it and just our real family life, that's actually that's Mia laughing, that noise in the background in that reel. People just love that. Anything where we just show what our real worlds look like.
Correct.
They love, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it because there was, and I guess it was a little bit about pre-SheKan 2.0. What the fuck do we share on socials? You know, what are we going to speak into? What are we going to talk about? And because we weren't doing that consistent daily or that 3-hourly event once a week, we were like, we need an event to wait till we can speak about stuff. And I've loved that this is like a little insight into our world about what we're thinking about, what's coming next, without having to artificially fake what we want to share with our audience.
And that comes down to our human design as well, right? As generators, we are here to respond.
Yeah.
And so to forcefully create content is a real struggle.
100%.
And even if you could do it, it wouldn't land.
Yeah, it wouldn't feel real.
Yeah. So, I mean, even we jumped on I think we either recorded a video or went live when we left here after recording season 1 in the car. That's got about 6,000 views. Now, that's organic. Like, it's not – that is literally us sharing our excitement from recording the podcast, not necessarily being a reel where there's a – you know, there's a hook and then there's a point of view and it's funny and it's shareable and it's, you know, like –
hooked some people. They really didn't like we were in a car.
Anyway, there's a whole other podcast in that anyway. Okay.
But, yeah, true. That's a bit of behind the glass. That's for the first time in a long time, I've enjoyed creating content.
Yeah, that's cool. And we're going to do some creation while Joey's here, and Squidgy and Joey are probably not going to like it. But anyway.
They're going to hate us.
Make sure you go to our Instagram profile and check out the reels with the boys in it and give it some love so we can say to the boys, see, it's all worth it.
So popular because of you two.
Oh, gosh. Love it. Okay. Question to finish off episode 4. What's something people assume about you that's completely wrong?
Oh, yeah, okay. For me, I'm thinking I'm just going to answer the first thing that pops into my mind, that I guess I have a carefree kind of, you know, out there, high energy, loose persona. In my own home and in my own space, I'm fairly regimented, strict, and like to be in control.
Yeah.
That. And that, I guess, that with that high energy, and she's fun and she's social and she absolutely loved time by myself too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that is probably a really valuable point because I think people that know us for SheKan would absolutely see us as the high energy, bubbly, outgoing, can go, like run 4-day events, 12 hours a day, no problems, all of the things, and probably would say that we're both extrovert. However, we're both 2-4 in human design, and we both absolutely need that alone time and that downtime to recharge the batteries.
Yeah.
And without it, it's probably a bit ugly.
It's not fun to be around. And you're probably pretty similar, but is there anything else that people would think about you?
And I think what probably comes to mind is that when we looked at this question, I really thought to myself, I don't actually think about what people think about me.
Oh gosh, yeah, we did discuss this.
Do you know what I mean? It doesn't consume me for people. Like, oh, I wonder what she thinks. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's I don't care. I don't know. Do I just have too much other stuff to worry about? I'm not sure. But I know there's people that are so consumed about, oh, I wonder if I did this, I wonder what do you know, I'm not there.
Oh, and I think a big, here's just you can see people's insecurities even when they put a filter on or, you know, a few weeks ago, we did Facebook Live.
That's
and
right.
I could not for the life of me work out how to make my camera. So my face was like, here it is.
Zoom.
But not for 1 minute did I think, people are going to be looking at her going, well, Shez probably should have got her lip waxed, and she's clearly, she did say she'd stopped getting injectables. You can fucking tell. That never entered my mind once. But I also never thought I'll pop a filter on to adhere that.
And I think filters are a whole other podcast because it actually intrigues me as to why people use filters.
Yeah.
Particularly in this day and age. I mean, there's probably more filters than ever. Gosh, back in the day, there was probably no filters.
Yeah.
I would never, ever think, swipe to do an Instagram story. Which filter? It would never cross my mind.
Not once.
I might be like, turn the camera around. That makes the dark bags under my eyes look a little less dark if I face this way.
Yeah.
But I would, so...
But we've also literally in our podcast said, people asked us about our makeup. No, we're not that good. It's the lighting.
No, and I would also not get professional makeup to record a podcast.
Absolutely not.
I actually don't know when I got professional makeup done last. But, if you use filters, go for it. Power to you. I just find it intriguing as to why someone would use a filter.
And I personally tune out when people do. I truly don't feel as connected to the person.
Unless it's like a real funny, Mrs. Hinch, she uses the hair roller, the funny filter. But I also think, just an extension from that is, people that put on a voice.
Yes.
If you're going to do a story and then there's this voice and it's like, fuck, you sound like that in real life. Because it'd be like
Unfortunately, we sound like this.
I know. Well, but it would be like us sitting down here and putting on a telephone voice.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is what we sound like.
Yeah.
And then you come to a voice and we're like, fucking dirt.
Who is these hillbillies? Yeah, for sure. I agree.
I'm 100% ochre. That's just the way I am. Take it or like it, whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So...
I couldn't agree more.
So it's not really something that crosses my mind. But I think the big thing about us both being full extroverts when we are, from a human design perspective, classed as the introverted extroverts.
Yeah.
And we need that balance.
Yeah.
The fourth line is all around community, which obviously is SheKan and all of that. But the hermit of us needs alone time, decompression.
Yeah.
Which I think is also why when we look at recharge in Bali, we have that element in between and after that we're okay to be together because if you can be asleep on the banana lounge and I can be reading or we don't need to be talking.
Notice she said she was reading and I was asleep.
She can be listening to an audiobook and I can be reading a book.
It's true though. It's true. But it's true.
But we could not get on a plane and go back home immediately after being in service for 2 events back to back.
No. And I do think there's real elements of that we're on, again, Recharge Bali is such a proximity, so we are with our clients the entire time. But then the bit that the clients don't see is that we will then go back to the room and unpack and process and rewrite, even though it doesn't look like an agenda, there's 100% one.
Absolutely.
We're doing that every
There's
night.
Still
so
an
we're
event.
going to bed late, then we're getting back up early. We will walk together every morning. And, we have made the mistake in the past of saying, come along, we're going to be, and have quickly realised that time is vital to set the day up the way we want it to go.
We call it our SheKan strategy walk.
And if we don't do it, it all goes to shit. So
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just finding those moments within. And I think the events that we run often don't look like work, particularly to our husbands.
Yeah.
But we're on.
True.
We're on the entire time. Yeah.
The whole time.
Yeah. Amazing. All right.
The great one.
Last sip.
Oh, good. And we've got some.
Cheers.
Cheers.
We'll see you back here for episode 5.
Bye.
Bye.